I agree with
We're
you.
not China.
Listen, I don't disagree with you about the due process issue. And Elizabeth, what I would say, I think, against the pro-Trump argument on this is if you start to play loose with due process, what happens, as Donald Trump is now realizing, I think, is that the stories become the stories which are about due process, not what's happened on the southern border. There is a clear, demonstrable, big success on the southern border, but I'm not reading or seeing anything about that. All I'm hearing about are these one or two isolated people who have not been afforded due process and where it looks unfair. And my point about that is that it's almost handing a victory to the jaws of defeat if you abandon due process. What do you think of that argument?
I mean, I have a lot to say in general, but can I just ask you, Pierce, do you genuinely believe that the mainstream media that we've talked a bit about now for the last 15 minutes would have given Donald Trump the win and actually written about the victory at the border, regardless of what else was happening in the country?
Probably not.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem, with
There you
Donald
go.
Trump, well, part of the problem with Donald Trump from day one, in terms of the way the media have treated him, is that they have failed to understand why he got elected. He got elected because he's not a conventional politician. He doesn't behave like a conventional politician. So the Trump hysteria raged away for 4 years the first time. This time round, we were told it's going to be different. Everyone's learned their lessons, and they haven't. The hysteria has blown up again about absolutely everything.
Hey, yo, okay, then that's quite the point. He says, were the aborted babies due process, Kim? I mean, like, damn, well, I mean, let's be real, G. We're supposed to give a 2-year-old due process for the mother, I guess. We're supposed to sit that 2-year-old down and pretty much be like, all right, we want to go. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are pretty insane with the whole due process stance right now. And shout out to my man, James Foley. He says, Fox Hunter, need a man, a real man. Any takers? Real men take that free woman, poor value ethic right away. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I would say this, Kim. Whatever guy might get you pregnant, I would fear for that child. I ain't gonna lie, the way you talking. Yeah, man. I'm not sure if I heard you right, but you said it's a life. It can be terminated. That's a cold statement, sweetheart. I don't know if you really mean that, but hey, let's keep it going.
Now, I've just been in America for a month. It's sort of every morning's like a jungle of everyone going bonkers about everything Trump says and does. When actually, as with all things Trump, it's better to take a bit of time and see how things play out, because I think that's what he does. I think he throws stuff up against the wall. He sees what sticks and what works and what doesn't work, what needs changing and so on. But the problem with the kind of...
And shout out to my man James Foley coming in again. He says, Kim, why don't you like me? You think I'm ugly, don't you? This man Foley, bro. At this point, this man has all the jokes. Bro. Like, be warned, bro. Be warned. You go back and forth with Foley, you're going to get trolled the entire stream.
Controlled chaos strategy that Trump deploys is that he does allow his opponents, his enemies, and I include quite a lot of people in the media who really do want to take him down. Even now, you can see it. It gives them a chance and an excuse to do that. And it takes away from the...
And shout out to my man Luke. He said, I want to shout out the chat, man. He said, I'm actually impressed with the wealth of free thinkers. Hey, man, shout out. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
Successes. And I think on tariffs and stuff like that, you know, I can see the big picture. I think most people understand the big argument and don't disagree with it. It's the way he's gone about this. He has to get some wins on the board, because otherwise, if in 6 months' time or a year's time, or as you head towards the midterms, the US economy is still in the doldrums and the stock market is still tanking, then you're going to lose the House in the midterms and the environment will change completely. So I do think there's, you know, he's playing with fire here with this.
I don't know, man. I feel like guys who talk bad about Trump's tariffs plan, you don't know what's going on in China. So like I said, if you knew what was going on in China and how this affects the Chinese economy, y'all would hush up and y'all would just be like, you know what? Let's keep it going. And then, damn, y'all want the commies to win? Like, bro, whose side are y'all on? Like, whose side are y'all on, bro? It's us versus China right now. Do you want what? The land of the free or the land of the commies to win? Choose. And if you think we're going to lose, then take your ass over there to China since you think they're going to win, and be okay with being a nurse getting paid $400 a month. Be okay with that, because that's what they're on. Go ahead. Go ahead and go over there with a college degree and be okay with getting paid $3,000 a month. Be okay with that.
This stuff where he's got to get wins on the board. Do you accept that?
I accept that.